Alrighty guys, here we are taking a look at the next one. I think this is hole 6, I believe. Maybe 7. With this wind, what I'll typically do is try to hop this over into this fairway. One of the biggest concerns that you have to worry about is maybe top spinning it too much. So, your typical club is going to have too much top spin. A lot of times I've even, gone down to either rock QB and did it with that way, so that way I can have just a little bit more accuracy. But you can see, that's a little bit riskier top spin than what I would typically do. You'll want to say what I would say under 4, 4.5, depending on your land zone. So I'm going to go just a little bit more than 4 here. Other than that, with this wind effect, you're going to see that I'll probably end up trying to curl it just a little bit. And what this will do, and that's right around 5 rings in this situation. As I mentioned, just a little bit of curl back. And what that should help is to straighten out the wind effect to make sure that you don't go in the right rough. What this is going to do is it's going to keep it away from this edge to where you don't have to worry about it running through. All we're trying to do is get it to anywhere in long iron range. You'll see opponent here is going to be a little bit more towards mid club, which means he's going to have to go much less ring play than me. I'm thinking him somewhere around the neighborhood of 1, maybe 1.1 per ring. So if he does this adjustment, which he didn't even do with precision, I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 7.7 to 8 rings here would be probably perfect. But he didn't do the precision move. So, kind of all bets are off as to where this is actually going to wind up when you just kind of eyeball it. But what I'm going to do is we're going to count them, and you'll want to always pay attention to where is the spot where your plus distance is. So for me, you'll see that, my plus 0 is down here, and I'm going to start at plus 3. Now, typically what I'll do is just a little bit of top spin, maybe just a little bit under 1 bar here for a wind that's a tailwind. And I'm starting at plus 3. You always want to make mental notes here. I'm going to have to go much more than my opponent went. And I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 9, maybe even just a little bit more than 9 rings. So that's what, 9.1. Perfect ball. It's coming in, and sure enough, I was able to get it. Now, what you'll want to do for this game, or for this hole, you'll want to make sure that time and time again, you're doing a consistent pull, whether it be, so, what did I just do mathematically? It was like 7.6 wind. I went 9.1 rings. I'm assuming it's somewhere in the 0.85-ish territory because I'm at that plus 3-ish. So I'll typically go somewhere between 0.85 to 0.9, somewhere in between that number of rings for that adjustment. Let's say next time I get plus 6. That means I'm farther from the hole. I need to go more rings. I'll have to go an extra 1/10, maybe even an extra 2/10 rings there. Okay, because the ball is going to be in the air longer. It's going to have more wind effect. Let's say even, the counter argument to that, and I'm not even, I drive it farther, and I'm not even to the plus yardage yet. That means I'm going to have to do what my opponent did and use less rings. And this is what I was mentioning, where he'd have to go much closer to kind of a 1-to-1 adjustment. Whereas I, with a 7.6, let's say I was right at the plus 0 or like a yard inside of that, maybe I'd go, 8.5 rings, for example. And the more that I go down towards that mid club, that's when I'm going to need to keep, tweaking that ring adjustment. So keep all that in mind. Good luck, and I'll see you guys on the next one.